was talking, so let me just summarize that and
No,
then.
just hold on, Julian. All right, go ahead, Julian.
So what I was saying is, at the end of the day, what the people need now from our president is practical measures, practical implemented actions, not theories, not structures, just practical things. Let's deal with the short term because a year has gone by, and we just need to have practical measures to reflect what this year has gone by. And hopefully, in the long term, we will catch up to where his agenda is.
I think his internet again.
Whose internet?
Oh, is he there?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm here, Victor. Hello? Is anybody there? I cannot hear anybody's voice. Mr. Julian?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here.
What about
Yeah,
Victor? Yes, Victor.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think Victor has dropped off.
Ah, okay.
I think Victor has dropped off. No, it's his internet that has problems.
Ah, okay. Well, Mr. Williams, Julian, sorry, I wouldn't say that I disagree with your opinions and your view, but like Mr. Swani said, it's a democracy and we're all entitled to have our own reservations and whatnot. So I like to see things from a different perspective as well.
Yeah, but what we're saying here is this: we've had a year of talking.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily consider it talking. What is happening in the northeast is not talking.
But what's happening? What is happening in the northeast that is of significance in the last year?
Well, I think
There's
there's been
of significance in the last year. There has been a change of direction from the year before. Nothing.
There's been a highly recorded success in that aspect.
Those were happening before.
The international, like the government of the United Kingdom have actually seen development in that, and they have pledged over 35. They've pledged 35 million pounds.
Oh, that's all talk. That's what I'm saying. Forget the talk. Nothing significantly changed from March, April, May last year.
All right, can we do it? Can we do it one by one? I missed that part of the conversation, but what I meant was Julian talking about nothing happening, and Oyes Yaya talking about some 35 million pounds being invested or given to Nigeria by the British government. So Julian, let me come back to you. Let me just get what you're trying to say. But if you might, before you start, you're too close to your camera. Can you?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So. Go ahead. You were trying to talk about nothing has happened or all is just talk.
Yeah, so I'm saying a year into a new government, we've had a lot of talk, a lot of press, but we're not seeing practical, short-term domestic issues being addressed, and that's what we want to focus on now. In the long run, a lot of these foreign trips will come to fruition. We hope. But nothing a year into a presidency has changed or improved. In fact, most things have deteriorated from where this president took over. So that's why we are saying the foreign trips, for whatever reason they may be, they could be laudable, but we don't see that. But now focus on the short-term, practical, implementable, deliverable items that the people can see.
All right, very well. Oh, you were trying to make a point on what was your point, and you were already listing examples.
Well, I was trying to say that insinuating that nothing has happened, though we wouldn't say things are all rosy at the moment, but insinuating that nothing has happened, nothing has changed. I think Mr. Julian is actually overstretching this fact because, to an extent, you and I have heard of the success that's been recorded against the fight against insurgency. Our people have, even international institutions has more confidence in our systems now. Our judiciary has more system. Our system of judiciary has more, people have more confidence in that system. Actually, this is something that we need. It is a tier of government that is being exploited over the years. We hear of cases, people being brought and not prosecuted and whatnot. Our system, if we can actually achieve that feat, I think we are heading in the right direction. And up until now, I don't see any administrations that has there gone to that to try to fix that. I'm not saying our judiciary is corrupt, of course, please don't misunderstand me, but I'm not saying there's been any significant probe of the so-called big men. You get what I'm saying? Our politics, the nature of our politics is changing now from a politics of the belly where we just want to feed off our relations or whatnot to a more logical and policy oriented. We have institutions now. Most of our institutions were operating informally. It is who you know that matters. Now, our institutions are actually moving towards the direction of being formal institutions. And like I said earlier, democracy is channeled through institutions. If our institutions don't work, we cannot have the dividends of democracy. So I want Mr. Julian to understand that. Though it's been a year, we've recorded little success in certain space, we're moving in the right direction. I would like to believe that.
All right, you say we're moving in the right direction, but Sonny seems to think otherwise because he's already asking questions. He's saying how many corruption cases has been successful so far. That, I think what he's trying to say is how many corrupt cases have been concluded in terms of prosecution and their review. But let's just hear from the horse's mouth. Sonny, what were you trying to talk about in that instance?
Yeah, this administration has done better compared to previous government in Nigeria so far for the issue of judiciary and other sectors. So far, what we've been hearing about the corruption cases, we haven't found any of them being successful. It's just been arrest somebody and tomorrow you will hear one person will come and testify. Our law says that anyone is being someone is innocent till being proven guilty. So I haven't seen it. So you are not going to tell me that our judiciary are working perfectly, because I've also heard a lot of news that they have restricted court orders. If you are going to do anything about judiciary and you are telling the public that it's been successful compared to the previous administration, whereby you are not obeying the court order, then it means you are in a laws, and if you are not obeying the rule of law, then it means that is not democracy, it's dictatorship. So you are not going to tell me every day that they have disobeyed court orders, and you don't call that any achievement, because these are the things people are rating. And I haven't seen on the news that they have rated Nigeria more corrupt than the previous government, as what is happening now. There is even one disturbing list that the US have released, I think 3 or 2 days back. So if we are making any statement, we should come out of partisan politics and try to face the issue. And if someone is not doing something right, we should boldly tell that person that they are not doing well. If we continue growing this sector, whereby because the man is from my region and the man is my religion man, so we are going to say anything that is doing is right, then we are not making a successful Nigeria. Because so far, I'm not in Nigeria, but I listen to Nigerian news more than ever, and I've seen any post, and I have people in Nigeria, so I know everything that is going on in the northern part, in the east, west. I have friends there. My friends are here from the north, Bonu, name it. Every part they are here. We discuss a lot, and we discuss about Nigerian politics. So there are some policies that is not even helping a lot of Nigerians living abroad. So you don't call that successful. You are making things harder for people, and you call that you are fighting corruption. You don't fight corruption that way. You fight corruption with a system. It's a systematic thing. You don't fight it with as if you are fighting a war. So that's what I have to say. Are you still there, Victor?
Yes, I am. Sonny, you seem to be a man who is connected, so to speak. Now, like he said, you have friends in almost every part of the country.
Yeah, I'm a Nigerian, so I make friends with every Nigerian that I've come across. So we know what is going on from
Uh,
every part.
all right, very well. Joe, we couldn't wrap up this conversation properly earlier on, but so, Julian, let me just come back to you now, because I was hoping we'd spend like about 20 minutes in this conversation. But Julian, let me just come back to you to get your closing statement before we close this time for for this edition.
Yeah. So I think in relation to this conversation, it's high time the president focuses on.
Oh,
Focuses.
and just before we go, Julian, I wanted to ask, don't you think the president's presence will give some level of seriousness to the people or to the countries that he has been visiting so far?
Definitely not many of them, because he has visited them for various reasons. A lot of them are insignificant. The China trip, if it's a strong bilateral trade agreement that we were seeking, yes, his presence there would make sense. But it doesn't seem like it was that, because his team was not complete. So this is my point. If he was going there for a financial trade agreement, then the head of his treasury, the finance minister, had to be on that trip, and she wasn't. So there are a lot of things that are just disconnected with the government. So some trips, if it was well planned and well executed, yes, the president's presence makes a difference. But a lot of his significant trips, the one to the U.S. at the beginning of his tenure, where he went with governors, and they all looked ill prepared. There was no policy advisors on that trip. The civil servants were not of the highest caliber in terms of experience and knowledge. It just didn't make sense. And these are kind of things that we are criticizing about the president. His intentions may be good, and in the long term may yield results, but he's unprepared. And that unpreparedness has shown through his entire presidency. And that's the disappointing thing about, and that's why we find ourselves where we face ourselves. It's his unpreparedness throughout the process.
Okay, what would you now like to say in closing this conversation?
So in closing, I think the domestic arm or the domestic leg of his presidency should now come to the fore. He should engage. He shouldn't shy away from us as he does when he's back in the country. He should really engage the people, business, and find out where we want to go, what the future Nigeria should look like across all spheres, and give us the power using his government to create the framework that allows us to go in that direction. So I think it's really supposed to be domestically focused. Any money coming in should not be tied to particular countries or regions. It should be accessible to any. It should be a level playing field, accessible to any organization or structure that can make returns or tangible returns on those investment deals that are being discussed right now. And I think the federal government should really realize that in 2016 it cannot do everything. It needs participants from a wider, broad spectrum of people and business in Nigeria.
All right, very well. Thank you, Julian Madubuko. You're calling from Lekki in Nigeria's commercial capital city. That's Lagos. Thanks for coming on the program. Yaya, let me come to you also. Would you like to say something before we close? Just hold on a bit. All right, go ahead.
I would like to say that I have noted the concerns of Mr. Julian and Sonny, and to an extent, I will say I am somewhat disappointed that you people raise some pointers regarding sentiment or religion or close ties or culture or whatever. I am not in any way. I wasn't expecting that, but aside that's totally outside the conversation. I would like to say that, in my opinion, again, I hold on to it that there is no constitutional binding fact that states that the president has to take this amount of trip, or the president has to take this so and so person when he goes on a foreign trip. We Nigerians elected this person to lead us. We have entrusted. Before we did that, we appealed to some of his manifestos, and we felt, okay, this is the way to take us forward. We have given this person a mandate to rule for 4 years, so why not see it out for the 4 years? There's nothing, there's pretty much little or nothing me and you can do about this than to participate in our own way to develop our country. So I would like to say that, again, categorically, these trips, I believe they have been instrumental or would be in the future, because there's a polls by Punch Nigeria which says 67% of Nigerians are in support of this trip. 7.1% believe that these trips will benefit Nigeria in the nearest future. So you can go check Punch online. It is on their official website. This post is there. You will see that 2 in 3 Nigerians actually appeal to this trip. So we're in a democracy. We go for the majority. The figures, let the figures do the speaking. And let's hope, I myself personally and every other Nigerian, I wish that this administration succeed, because if it does, it's for the betterment of Nigerians as a whole, not for a specific region. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I hear you're expressing some concerns and some disappointment as well as to some of the comments, but let's just put that to the side. Sonny, let's also hear from you before we wrap up finally on this edition.
Yeah, what I want to say is that the president and his team should focus and do the needful and stop this media propaganda and this stage war. They should focus on what they want to do. If they think they have 4 years and therefore they don't care, before you know, 1 year is already gone and people are complaining. So they should try to focus on what they can achieve within the 4 years before his administration run end, because time is not on his side and he can't buy time. So they should come up with a tangible development that people will feel that this is what President Buhari has done on his in second coming to rule Nigeria. So that is what we want to see. We don't want to see a situation whereby you are making unnecessary trips that are not making any impact. So nobody is saying that you shouldn't travel. You should travel, but try to make it a positive one that will benefit the country. So if you can't make an impact, is it when you need that people are going to benefit from it? So we want to see that change that they promise. So we are tired of this issue of complaining from here and there. We want to see them making it happen. We don't want to see it, I will do that. We want to hear, I'm doing this. That is what we want to hear. I'm doing this, not I will do that. Because the time of I will do that has gone. This is what I'm doing. That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
All right. All right. Once again, thanks all of you for coming on the program. Julian, you are calling from, again, Lekki in Lagos, Nigeria. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you.
Sure. And also, Ois, you're calling from Istanbul. That's Turkey. Is it the Asian part of Turkey or the European side? Turkey seems to be a blessed country. It's in 2 continents.
Yes, I'm on the European side. Thank you very much, Victor, for having me.
Of course.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, Sonny, thank you also. You're calling from UAE. That's Dubai specifically in the United Arab Emirates. Thanks for coming on the program. All right, guys, for those of you who watched also on our YouTube stream, thanks as well for being a part of the program. Thanks for coming and joining us throughout the discussion, but that's where we have to wrap it up this time around again. Goodbye for now. So I see you next week. My name is Victor Matthias.